First of all, so let's talk a little bit about the setting, how you shoot what you do. Your first thing is make sure there's good light. I need to be able to see your eyes. I need to be able to see your mouth. Remember, this isn't a movie. This is an acting, it's like an audition tape. So this is strictly for acting. So it's to show you're acting. If you can give me a nice location, if you can give me great light, if you can give me props, elements, things to decorate your scene, that's wonderful if they fit your script, if they fit the emotions you want to do, but they are unnecessary. Make sure that the additions you make don't harm you. For instance, make sure there isn't a large object over here or something really bright or something that distracts attention from you. Make sure the audio is very, very clear. I need to be able to hear your voice. I need to be able to hear you pronounce. Okay? This is for location. Try to make sure the setting is as quiet as possible. If there are noises in the background, if things aren't really ideal, the setting isn't perfect, that's completely okay. As long as I can see you clearly, I'm not grading you on the setting, but costumes, makeup, the setting, everything you do makes you believe the character more, makes you develop the personality more, which will help you act. So it helps to actually have a setting and have an outfit and have just kind of be into the mood of what you're doing. Okay, given the setting, this is the basics. This isn't a filming course, so you're not graded on your camera work. But I just need it mainly to be stable, clear, just the way it is right now. Try to speak right above the camera if you're looking at camera. If you're not, if you're talking to someone, make sure that the open space is on this side. So don't leave empty space and then turn to this side and talk that way. Talk this way towards the space where the other character would be. Ideally, if later on we have scenes where you have two people, you can have someone read the lines to you off camera so they're not showing, or you can have them act out. But when you use somebody with you, try to let them, as much as possible, become the role. Because them acting, them giving you correct emotions will help you play off of them. Acting is a give and take. You are living the moment. Okay, so let's talk now about the actual acting itself. There is a big difference between acting on stage and acting on screen and film. There is a big difference between acting and presenting or lecturing or speaking. So what I'm doing right now is a combination of between lecturing and public speaking. Body language is very different. We don't use our emotions. I can use double gestures with my hands. We stay very stable. Theater. So this is the biggest problem with acting in Lebanon, is most of our actors and our directors are trained in theater. Very few are trained in film. What's the big difference between theater and film? Theater, to me, is actually a lot harder. I used to be in theater. I did 10 years of theater before I moved to cinema. Theater has required a live interaction with the audience, requires a lot more energy, a lot more power, a lot more presence, and a lot more discipline. But theater is big. It is grand. And if you go back and you watch most of your classmates' videos, you're going to notice that a lot of them have that theatrical kind of element. So when they speak, they over-exaggerate their voice, they overdo their reactions, shock, surprise, anger. This is for stage. We do that because there's such a far distance between me and the audience. So I need to make my emotions bigger, I need to make my voice bigger, my body language, my gesturing. All this is part of theater. Because of the distance between me and the person, that enables me to be big so they can connect with me. Camera, especially now, digital cameras, telephones, the new cameras we use for cinema, they pick up the smallest details, and our mic picks up your voice in the softest tones, which means the minute you act big, it looks completely fake. We have very good actors in Lebanon, but they are nearly all for theater, which makes them look ridiculous on camera, which is why most of our movies and our TV shows, with all due respect to everybody producing them, look completely fake. You watch Lebanese cinema and TV 80% of the time, and you cannot connect with what's happening. One, because usually the scripts are horrible, we don't deal with topics, we're not honest about things, but also because the acting is for stage, not for film. So how do I act for film? Let me avoid a couple of mistakes you guys are doing. Biggest mistake that will not be forgiven from now on: your script. I saw a lot of you memorizing your script poorly, which means while you're saying your lines, you pause for a second and you usually look up or you look down. You're looking for the lines in your head. You're trying to remember your lines. I know you think you memorized your lines, but whenever you turn the camera on, you'll notice that you haven't memorized your lines. So the way to fix this is memorize your lines well, shoot early. So if it's due in 6 days, do not wait till day number 5 to shoot this. Memorize it in the first 2 days, shoot it on the 3rd day. Rewatch it that night or the next day. Make sure you're happy with it. You're not, shoot it again and again and again and again. Keep shooting it till you get it right. There's absolutely no excuse for a bad audition or a bad monologue, except that you didn't try hard enough. So let's talk about a couple of things. We talk about acting for stage, acting for movies. How do I act for movies? I feel the emotions. I don't think I'm angry, so I need to hit my fist on the table. That's theater. I try to remember something in my life that makes me extremely angry. I try to remember an emotion. I try to connect emotionally with what is happening in the script. My first step to do that, of course, is to really understand my script. So you need to take apart your script, understand exactly why the characters are saying what they're saying, what they mean by the lines, what's their real motivation, what is it that they want to achieve at the end of this mission, where are they, is it cold, is it warm, is it somewhere they're used to, are they not used to being there? All of these are parts of the things you need to know. You need to research your characters. It's not just memorize the lines, get up and do them. Okay, so that's about your lines and memorization. This will not be tolerated. So if I see you reading from lines, if you pause, you're going to lose a lot of grades. And by the way, the evaluation for your work gets harder and harder as we move along. The more I give you criticism, the better you're supposed to be getting. If you're not improving, your grade's just going to keep getting lower. Do the work means you'll pass the course. Do well at the course means you need to be convincing. You need to be able to connect with your audience and get the emotion across to your audience. Putting that alone. Other things you can't do. All right. So, when you stand for theater, for film, for theater, for even presentations, it's always the same. If you're saying your lines and they're strong lines, or you're confident and you're relaxed, put your weight on your heels, on the back of your foot. So notice the difference. If I put my weight on my heels, my body stays firm and in place. So when I speak, I'm not constantly moving around. If I put my weight on my toes, if you notice, my body immediately starts to rock because you're not in balance anymore. You're not, we call it grounding. Your heels are not grounded to the floor, so you're disconnected a little bit, which means your body stays moving around. This makes you look nervous. Now, if your character is nervous in the scene, that's a perfect trick. Put your weight on your toes, and you'll constantly be moving around and be nervous and be fidgety and move and make gestures. This makes you look anxious. Now go back to the videos. Watch how many of you did that when you weren't supposed to be anxious because you were really nervous. That's the difference. We need to understand our body language so we know how to show to the other person what our emotions are. Your language, your vocabulary, your eyes, your face, your emotions, your body language, these are all just like words, even more powerful. They're our way of communicating with the other, so we have to learn exactly what it means. For a lecture or for a speech, we use what's called a double hand gesture, which means I go like this, I go like that, I do this. It's an equal gesture with both arms. This is used usually when we talk in normal time, when we emphasize a point, or when you're giving a speech and you want to hit certain words and make them more important. But if you act the whole time like this is very annoying. You look like a really bad car salesman or a really bad salesman from door to door. You look like you're pleading. You disconnect with your audience because you naturally don't gesture with both hands at the same time the whole time when you act. So use one hand, be normal. If you are unsure about what to do with your hands, but that's usually the biggest. So if you're getting nervous with your hands, that's the biggest thing actors always face. So learning what to do with your hands is one of the hardest things. The best way to learn what to do with your hands, live the moment. So every time you say that line, it needs to be as if it's the first time in your life you say that line. Every time you act that emotion, this needs to be the first time you hear that tragic noise, or the first time you say I love you to the person or I hate you to the person. It's not the 50th time of a repetition in a rehearsal. No, it has to be the very first time you say it. They have to feel it that way. It has to come across that way exactly. Okay, on to other things that you guys are doing. Don't look down from the camera. Even if you're trying to imitate what was on the movie, what you watched, looking down means they would have shot it from a different angle. They would have moved their camera, taken a second angle, taken something so that we can still see the eyes. But if your camera's up here and you're saying, let's say, writing a letter, or you're talking to somebody and you're constantly doing this the whole time, I don't see your eyes, I don't connect with you, I can't see you. So for the sake of this, either you move your camera to a place where I can see your eyes, or you restage it. Next point. You guys have chosen speeches that already exist and the movies exist. I do not want you to do them the way the movie does them. I want you to interpret the script the way you interpret it, with the emotions and the gestures of you. I want to see you add something new. I don't want to see what's already there. Okay? I want to see your understanding of the script, your understanding of the character. Nobody plays the role the same way. We all bring in an element of ourselves into the character we play, so every time somebody plays a character, it is unique, which is what it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be trying to act like your actor in this scene. I want you to act like you becoming the character in this scene. Okay, so that's a whole bunch of points. I'm going to put a couple of more videos up for you on how to do this while you get ready to shoot your second monologue.